Hello, in today's lesson we're going to be looking at multiplying and dividing money. So first of all, we're just going to have a quick recap on multiplying and dividing, and then we're going to see how that applies when we're looking at money. So quick reminder, for example, if we were doing 235 times 4, then remember when you're multiplying, you start from the right hand side. So we're going to do 5 times 4, which is 20. So remember, we write that as 20, so that it still says 20 as we look at it. Okay, then we're going to do 3 times 4, working our way across the top line. 3 4s are 12, and we need to remember and add that 2, so that makes it 14. And then the last bit, 2 times 4 is 8. Which is going to go there, but remember we need to add that 1, so that makes 9. So 235 times 4 is 940. And next, just a quick dividing recap. So we're going to do 565 divided by 5. Okay, so we're first of all looking at how many 5s go into 5. So that's 1 exactly, nothing to carry. Then we're looking at how many 5s are there in 6. And there's 1 whole 5 and 1 left over. So we put the 1 that's left over there. And then how many 5s are in 15? And that's 3. So the 3 goes there. So 565 divided by 5 is 113. So let's move on to money then. So really the only difference is that we've now got a decimal point in our calculations. We set them out exactly the same. So £24.30 times 5. When we're writing out the question, we don't need to put the pound sign here. We do need to remember the pound sign in the answer, but we don't need to put it here during our calculation. Okay, so we're going to do 0 times 5. Don't be tempted to write 5. Remember, anything times 0 is 0. So a 0 here. Then we've got 3 times 5 is 15. So we write that as 15. Then 4 times 5 is 20. Add the 1 makes 21. Then 2 times 5 is 10. Add the 2 makes 12. Okay, so that's not the answer because there was a decimal point here in the question, wasn't there? And there isn't one in the answer. So the easiest way to find out where the decimal point goes in the answer is to look at the question, look at the numbers that are in the question. How many numbers are there after the decimal point in each of our numbers? So in £24.30, we've got 2 numbers after the decimal point. Here, we don't have numbers after the decimal point because the decimal point would be after the 5. So altogether in the question, there are 2 numbers after the decimal point. So in the answer, there should be 2 numbers after the decimal point. Because it's money, we also need a pound sign. The next one we're going to look at is £43.22 times 8. So remember, you can use your multiplication square if you want to help you with the multiplying. So starting from the right hand side, 2 times 8 is 16. We've got another 2 times 8 is 16, but we need to add the 1 to make it 17. Then 3 times 8 is 24. Add the 1 is 25. And then 4 times 8 is 32. Add the 2, makes 34. Again, we look at the question. We look at the 2 numbers in the question. And we see how many numbers we've got after the decimal point. So we've got 2 numbers after the decimal point here. And no numbers after a decimal point here. So altogether in the question, there are 2 numbers after the decimal point. So altogether in their answer, there needs to be 2 numbers after the decimal point. And remember a pound sign. So £43.22 times 8 is £345.76. The next one, £9.03 times 3. Some of you can probably do that one in your head. If you do £9 times 3 and 3 pence times 3, you would be able to work out that answer, I think. But let's just go through the same process as we're practicing it. So 3 times 3 to start with is 9, no carrying required. Then 0 times 3 is 0, no carrying required. And 9 times 3 is 27, so we'll put that there because we've nothing else to work out. And again, in the question, there are 2 numbers after the decimal point, so we need the same for the answer and a pound sign. The last multiplication one, £302.15 times 9. So bigger numbers this time. So to start with, 5 times 9 is 45. Make sure when you're carrying numbers that the number does still look correct. For example, if we got those numbers the wrong way round and we'd put 45, as we look at that, it does look like 54, doesn't it? It doesn't look like 45 like that does. So remember, be careful how you write that. Okay, so we've done 5 times 9, so it's 1 times 9 now. 1 times 9 is 9. Add 4 is 13. Then 2 9s are 18. Add the 1 makes 19. 0 9s is 0. Add the 1 is 1. And 3 9s are 27. Let's put that in there. And again, looking at the question, we've got 2 decimal places, 2 numbers after the decimal point in the question. So we need 2 numbers after the decimal point in the answer. And we need a pound sign. Okay, so the answer is £2,719.35. All right, let's move on to dividing. So the dividing is a little bit different when we get a bit further on in these examples. So to start with, completely straightforward, £45.20 divided by 5. The only thing we need to remember is to keep the decimal points in line, like we do with adding and subtracting. So we start from the left-hand side. Remember, dividing's the only one where we start from the left. So 5 into 4 doesn't go. So we have no 5s in 4, and we've still got that 4 left over. Now we're looking at how many 5s are in 45. So if you go to your 5 times table, you'll find out that's 9 exactly, so nothing to carry. How many 5s are in 2? Well, there aren't any 5s in 2, no whole 5s, so that's a 0, and we need to carry that 2. And then how many 5s are in 20? And that is 4. So the answer is £9.04. We don't need to write this 0 in our answer. Okay, next one. £81.78 divided by 6. All right, so 6 into 8. Well, there's 1 6 in 8, and there are 2 left over. So now we're looking at how many 6s are in 21. So 3 6s are 18, 4 6s are 24. So we can say there's only 3 6s in 21, and we've got 3 left over. Now remember, when you're dividing, you keep your points in line. How many 6s are in 37? Well, there are 6 6s in 37. 6 6s are 36, so there's 1 left over. And then how many 6s are in 18? Gives us 3. So there's nothing complicated about that one. We can just stick our pound sign in the front there. Now the next one, 15 divided by 4. Or rather, £15 divided by 4, I should say. So, start as usual. 4 into 1 doesn't go, so it goes no times. And we've got a 1 left over. So now we're looking at how many 4s are in 15. and there are 3 4s in 15. 3 4s are 12, and we've got 3 left over. But we've got nothing to carry that 3 on to, which is a bit of a shame because we haven't finished our dividing yet, have we? So what we do is we just use our smarts a little bit, and we remember that we can write £15 as £15 like that, or like that. So if we put another 2 numbers after the decimal point, then we can carry on with our divider. We can put our decimal point there, keep them in line, and now how many 4s are in 30? So 30 divided by 4 is 7. 7 4s are 28, so there's 2 left over. And then we're looking at how many 4s are in 20, and that makes 5. So our answer for £15 divided by 4 is £3.75. Okay. Next one. £782.64 divided by 8. So when you're doing these dividends, you can either put the decimal point in before you start, because we know where it's going to go, or you can just do it as you're going along, or you can do it at the end. You must just remember to do it. Okay? So, first of all, we're going to go, how many 8s are in 7? Well, there are no 8s in 7, because 7's smaller than 8. And we need to carry those 7 on there. So now it's how many 8s are in 78. And if you know your 8 times table, then you'll know that 9 8s are 72. And we've got 6 left over then. So how many 8s are in 62? Well, that would be 7. And 7 8s are 56. So that gives us 6 to carry over. 8 into 66 goes 8 times. Remainder 2, because 8 8s are 64. And then 8 into 24 goes 3 times. So the answer to this one is £97.83. Okay, and then the last one for today, 431 divided by 5. Again, we're going to go 5 into 4, and that doesn't go, that goes no times, so we've got 4 left over. Now we're looking at how many 5s are in 43, and 8 5s are 40, so we've got 3 left over. How many 5s are in 31? Well, 6 5s are 30, and then we've got 1 left over. But we haven't got anything to carry that 1 on to, so we need to just be using our smarts like we did before, and we can write £431 as 431.00, can't we? So if we keep our points in line, we can now carry on. How many 5s are in 10? Well, that's 2. And then how many 5s are in 0? 0. So our answer here is £86.20. So what we're actually doing is we're putting a decimal point in to allow us to carry on with our division, which is very helpful in the case of money. Okay, so if you have a go at the practice questions now, that would be grand, and I'll see you soon.